Let's talk about Mike Evans, Dynasty, Contender Gold. We know that in the offseason, when we talk about these pockets of times to, to trade for certain guys, and we know in the offseason, people hate older wide receivers. Going into the offseason, going into the rookie drafts, going into the regular season, and they are as cheap as you can find at that particular time because everybody loves these young wide receivers and we push them up dynasty rankings and these older wide receivers kind of get forgotten about. And Mike Evans has just been that absolute gold so far this year for any contenders that went out there and had him on their team or went out there and bought him. I mean, even now on a non-contending team, if you're looking to get rid of Mike Evans, you're probably getting a second plus or multiple seconds. It's going to be very difficult to get a first, even a late first, at this point. There might be somebody out there that will give it to you, but in,
Hmm.
more competitive leagues, like you're not going to get that first. So you kind of got to take that second or multiple seconds, that second plus. But yeah, Mike Evans has been awesome as he normally is. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit earlier. He is not going to be re-signing with him next year. He said if he didn't get the contract this year, so where is he going to wind up going next year? Hopefully, he goes to a contending team, a situation where he can still produce. So yeah, in Dynasty, he's been absolute gold for those contending teams, especially if you got him cheap. So, what do you think about Mike Evans and his Dynasty value right now? What he can do for you?
So what's really interesting about Mike Evans, and I know there was a ton of the talk where, oh, Tom Brady's not going to be there anymore, but we've seen Mike Evans without Tom Brady. He was damn good without Tom Brady. So the projected drop off for Mike Evans now, I think the concern was more about who they replaced Tom Brady with, Baker Mayfield. But to Baker Mayfield's credit, he's played pretty well with two good wide receivers. Obviously, you have Godwin on the opposite side, and then Rashad White has been really good as well. So that offense hasn't been a dumpster fire that we thought it might be without Tom Brady. But just to hone in on Mike Evans a little bit, man, the guy is still wide receiver 9 in half PPR, wide receiver 12 in full PPR. He's still a wide receiver 1. He's still a wide receiver 1, which is absolutely crazy. So 6 touchdowns in 9 games, right? He's that touchdown clip, and that's kind of what I talked about with Amon-Ra. And I think what would separate Amon-Ra from the rest of that pack that's a little bit behind him and vault him into that pack is that touchdown percentage. Mike Evans has a touchdown in 66% of his games this season. That's a fantastic clip. And the value for a 30-year-old wide receiver, he's probably going to finish with 10 touchdowns in his next whatever 7 games. So 10 touchdowns in 17 games. That's phenomenal. So yeah, so if you can go out there and give up a second plus, that's why wouldn't you do that if you're in 4th place, right? In your league and your third wide receiver is Christian Watson, right? Why wouldn't you go get Mike Evans?
So, I mean, I think it's definitely dependent on the situation. He's not a young enough player where I guess you can definitely say, well, you're buying, selling, or holding on him. Situation dependent. You got to be selling or you should have sold him already if you're not contending and have him off the squad. And, you should be buying if you are a contender. So I think that's exactly the price. Multiple seconds or a second plus should get the job done to get Mike Evans. Just see what else that guy has on his team or girl, and
Mhm.
see see what you can get from off that non-contending team. Exciting still, even for like the next year or the year after, almost as well, because of
He
where
has some staying power, yeah.
because of where he can go. So I think he's a little bit more than just this year.